Ho! You guys again. Been waiting here for a while. Thought I'd take a snooze. It's good to have you back. Good to have you back in the jungle. Let's continue our story, shall we? Chapter 2. Hunting Gone. Hunting Song of the Si-no-e Pack. As the dawn was breaking, the samber belled once, twice, and again, and a doe leaped up, from the pond in the wood where the wild deer sup. This I, scouting alone, beheld once, twice, again. As the dawn was breaking, the sunbur belled once, twice, again, and a wolf stole back, and a she-wolf stole back to carry the word of the waiting pack. And we sought, and we found, and we bayed on his track once, twice, and again. As the dawn was breaking, the wolf pack yelled once, twice, again. Feet in the jungle that leave no mark, eyes that can see in the dark tongue. Give tongue to it, hark, oh hark, once, twice, again. Ka, K, Ka. Ka's hunting, it says. And I see wolves. That looks like a lion or a tiger, and someone's riding it, I think. All right, here we go. Ka's hunting. His spots are the joy of the leopard. His horns are the buffalo's pride. Be clean, for the strength of the hunter is known by the gloss of his hide. If you find that the bullock can toss you, or the heavy-browed samber can gore, ye need not stop work to inform us. We knew it 10 seasons more. Oppress not the cubs of the stranger, but hail them as sister and brother. For though they are little and fubsy, it may be the bear is their mother. There's none like to me, says the cub in the pride of his earliest kill. But the jungle is large and the cub he is small. Let him think and be still. Maxims of Baloo the bear. All right, into the story. All that is told here happened sometime before Mowgli was turned out of the Si-no-e wolf pack, or revenged himself on Shere Khan the tiger. It was in the days when Baloo was teaching him the law of the jungle. The big, serious brown bear was delighted to have so quick a pupil. For the young wolves will only learn as much as the law of the jungle as applies to their own pack and tribe, and run away as soon as they can repeat the hunting verse. Feet that make no noise, eyes that can see in the dark, ears that can hear in the winds in their lairs, and sharp white teeth. All these things are the marks of our brothers, except Tabulkai the jackal and the hyena, whom we hate. But Mowgli, as a man cub, had to learn a great deal more than this. Sometimes Bagheera, the black panther, would come lounging through the jungle to see how his pet was getting on, and would purr with his head against a tree while Mowgli recited the day's lesson to Baloo. The boy could climb almost as well as he could swim, and swim almost as well as he could run. So Baloo, the teacher of the law, taught him the wood and water laws, how to tell a rotten branch from a sound one, how to speak politely to the wild bees when he came upon a hive of them 50 feet above the ground, what to say to Mang the bat when he disturbed him in the branches at midday, and how to warn the water snakes in the pools before he splashed down among them. None of the jungle people like being disturbed, and all are very ready to fly at any intruder. Then too Mowgli was taught the stranger's hunting call, which must be repeated aloud till it is answered whenever one of the jungle people hunts outside his own grounds. It means, translated, give me leave to hunt here because I am hungry. And the answer is, hunt then for food, but not for pleasure. All this will show you how much Mowgli had to learn by heart, and he grew very tired of saying the same thing over 100 times. But as Baloo said to Bagheera, one day when Mowgli had been cuffed and run off in a temper, a man's cub is a man's cub, and he must learn all the laws of the jungle. But how? But think how small he is, said the Black Panther, who would have spoiled Mowgli if he had had his own way. How can his little head carry all thy long talk, says the panther. Is there anything in the jungle too little to be killed? No. That's why I teach him these things, and that is why I hit him very softly when he forgets. Softly. What dost thou know of softness, old iron feet? Bagheera grunted. His face is all bruised today by thy softness. Ugh. Better he would be bruised from head to foot by me, who love him, than he should come to harm through ignorance, Baloo answered very earnestly. I am now teaching him the master words of the jungle that shall protect him with the birds and the snake people, and all that hunt on their feet, except his own back. He can now claim protection if he will only remember the words from all in the jungle. Is not that worth a little teaching? Well, look to it then that thou dost not kill the man-cub. He is no tree trunk to sharpen thy blunt claws upon. But what are those master words? I am more likely to give help than to ask it. Bagheera stretched out his one paw and admired the steel blue, ripping chiseled talons at the end of it. Still, I should like to know. I will call Mowgli, and he shall say them, if he will. Come, little brother. My head was ringing like a bee tree, said a sullen little voice over their heads. Mowgli was slid down a tree trunk, very angry and indignant, adding as he reached the ground, I come for Bagheera and not for thee, old fat Baloo. That is all one to me, said Baloo, although he was hurt with grief. Tell Bagheera, then, the master words of the jungle that I have taught thee this day. Master words for the people, said Mowgli, delighted to show off. The jungle has many tongues. I know them all. The little thou knowest, but not much. See, Bagheera, they never thank their teacher, do they? Not one small wolfing has ever come back to thank old Baloo for his teachings. Say the word for the hunting people. Then a great scholar. We be of one blood, ye and I, said Mowgli, giving the words the bare accent which all the hunting people use. Good, for now the birds. Mowgli repeated, and with the kite's whistle at the end of the sentence. Now for the snake people, said Bagheera. The answer was perfectly indescribable. Perfectly indescribable hiss. And Mowgli kicked up his feet behind, clapped his hands together to applaud himself, and jumped onto Bagheera's back, where he sat sideways drumming, with his heels on the glossy skin and making the worst face he could think of at Baloo. There. That was a little worth. That was worth a little bruise," said the brown bear tenderly. "Someday thou wilt remember me, huh?" Then he turned aside to tell Bagheera how he had begged the master words from Hathi, the wild elephant, who knows all about these things, and how Hathi had taken Mowgli down to a pool to get the snake word from a water snake, because Baloo could not pronounce it, and how Mowgli was now reasonably safe against all accidents in the jungle, because neither snake, bird, nor beast would hurt him. No one then is there to be feared," Mowgli wound up, patting his big furry stomach with pride. "Except his own tribe," says Bagheera under his breath, and then aloud to Mowgli, "Have a care for my ribs, little brother. What is all this dancing up and down?" Mowgli had been trying to make himself heard by pulling at Bagheera's shoulder fur and kicking hard. When the two listened to him, he was shouting at the top of his voice, "And so I shall have a tribe of my own and lead them through the branches all day long." "What is this new folly, little dreamer of dreams?" said Bagheera. "Yes, and throw branches and dirt at old Baloo," Mowgli went on. "They have promised me this." "Ah!" "Oof!" Mowgli's big paw scooped up Mowgli off Bagheera's back, and as the boy lay between the big forepaw, he could see the bear was angry. "Mowgli," said Baloo, "thou hast been talking with Bandar Log, the monkey people." Mowgli looked at Bagheera to see if the panther was angry, and Bagheera's eyes were as hard as jade stones. "Thou hast been with the monkey people, the gray apes, the people without a law, the eaters of everything. That is great shame." "When Baloo hurt my head," said Mowgli, "he was still on his back. I went away, and the gray apes came down from the trees and had pity on me. No one else cared." He snuffled a little. "The pity of the monkey people," Baloo snorted, "the stillness of the mountain stream, the cool of the summer sun, and then, cub, and then they gave me nuts and pleasant things to eat, and they carried me in their arms up to the top of the trees, and said I was their blood brother, except that I had no tail, and should be their leader someday. They had no leader," said Bagheera. "They lie. They have always lied. They were very kind and bade me come back again. Why have I never been taken among the monkey people? They stand on their feet as I do. They do not hit me with their hard paws. They play all day. Let me get up, Bad Baloo. Let me get up. Hey, Noel. I will play with them again." "Listen, man cub," said the bear. His voice rumbled like thunder on a hot night. "I have taught thee all the law of the jungle for all the people of the jungle except the monkey folk who live in the trees. They have no law. They are outcasts. They have no speech of their own, but use the stolen words which they overhear when they listen and peep, look, and wait up above in the branches. Their way is not our way. They are without leaders. They have no remembrance. They boast and they chatter and pretend that they are a great people about to do great affairs in the jungle. But the falling of the nut turned their mind to laughter, and all was forgotten. We of the jungle have no dealings with them. We do not drink where the monkeys drink. We do not go where the monkeys go. We do not hunt where they hunt. We do not die where they die. Laughed Baloo. Hast thou ever heard me speak of Bandare Log till today? No, said Mowgli in a whisper, for the forest was very still now Baloo had finished. The jungle people put them out of their mouths and out of their minds. They are very many, evil, dirty, shameless, and they desire, if they have any fixed desire, to be noticed by the jungle people. But if we do not notice them, even when they throw nuts and filth on our heads. He had hardly spoken when a shower of nuts and twigs splattered down through the branches, and they could hear coughing and howling and angry jumpings high up in the air among the thin branches. The monkey people are forbidden, said Baloo. Forbidden. To the jungle people, remember this, Mowgli. Forbidden, 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 said Bagheera. But I still think Baloo should have warned thee against them. How was I to guess he would play with such dirt? The monkey people? Fog! A fresh shower came down on their heads, and two trotted away, taking Mowgli with them. What Baloo had said about the monkeys was perfectly true. They belonged to the treetops, and as beasts very seldom look up, there was no occasion for the monkeys and the jungle people to cross each other's path, but whenever they found a sick wolf or a wounded tiger or bear, the monkeys would torment him and would throw sticks and nuts at the beast for fun and in the hope of being noticed. Then they would howl and shriek senseless songs and invite the jungle people to climb up up their trees and fight them, or would start furious battles over nothing amongst themselves, and leave the dead monkeys where the jungle people could see them. They were always just going to have a leader and laws and customs of their own. But they never did, because their memories would not hold over from day to day, and so they compromised things by making up a saying where what the Bandar-log think now, the jungle will think later. And that comforted them a great deal. None of the beasts could reach them, but on the other hand, none of the beasts would notice them, and that was why they were so pleasing when Mowgli came to play with them, and they heard how angry Baloo was. They never meant to do any more. The Bandar-log never mean anything at all. Bandar-log meaning, remembers the monkeys, right? The gray monkeys. But one of them invented what seemed to him a brilliant idea, and he told all the others that Mowgli would be a useful person to keep in the tribe because he could weave sticks together for protection from the wind. So if they caught him, they could make him teach them. Of course, Mowgli, as a woodcutter's child, inherited all sorts of instincts and used to make little huts of fallen branches without thinking how he came to it. The Mowgli people watched in the trees, considered his play most wonderful. This time, they said, they were really going to have a leader and become the wisest people in the jungle, so wise that everyone would notice and envy them. Therefore, they followed Baloo and Bagheera and Mowgli through the jungle very quietly till it was time for the midday nap. And Mowgli, who was very much ashamed of himself, slept between the panther and the bear, resolving to have no more to do with the monkey people. Speaking of sleep, where was I? Until tomorrow, I'll be right here, getting my sleep.